Welcome to True Crime by Indie Drop-In. Each week, we feature an episode from the best independent creators. Hit the subscribe button for more great true crime content. If you would like to help support Indie Drop-In, check out our Patreon at the bottom of the show notes. Today's episode is from Scary Stories Your Mom Never Told You. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to subscribe to Scary Stories Your Mom Never Told You and to follow on social media. Enjoy the show.
Begin.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ariel.
And I'm Amber, and welcome to Scary Stories Your Mom Never Told You.
This week our theme is going to be Stalkers Who Creep, and I am so excited to tell you guys my story. My story's definitely pretty long. It's 3 pages long. I typed it out.
Mine's a little shorter.
Yeah, Amber's is very short. So we're going to let Amber start today.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a super creepy story of a psycho stalker. I got my story from a website called Red and Black, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. This is the story of Katie Landman, the victim of a 4-year stalking. I don't know about you, but that's a long time. I feel like that's not
I feel
right.
like by then I would get like a restraining order or something.
Yeah, she didn't even... Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it and talk about it. Landman met a man.
Her name's Layman?
Her name is Katie. But it's her
okay.
last name. I guess I'll say her first name. It's more...
Madam Layman.
It's more professional to say the last names, but fine. I guess I'll just be unprofessional and say her first name. So Katie met a man at a Chicago bar in 1999. She never really formally filed a police report about her case. That's what I was going to say. So she never even went to the police about it.
So I feel like she was not that scared about it. I don't know. I haven't heard your story. Keep going.
But when she met this guy, let's go ahead and call him Mark because she said that she didn't want to say his name just for privacy reasons. So we'll say Mark. After they just met, he already was telling her that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. And that was only within a month.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't even think I could be saying I like you within a month.
Yeah, literally. So she definitely backed away from him, telling him oh, I do not feel the same way.
Telling him to chill.
Yeah, I mean, even whenever they first met, she made it really clear that she did not want a serious relationship. But after only going out for a few times, he would be constantly calling her and begging to see her and would whisper in the phone, "I love you," and just weird things like that. So he was definitely getting really attached quickly. But Mark was extremely persistent to get her and would follow her everywhere she went, even crying and begging her to take him back.
Oh my God.
So he was crying, begging her.
I can't even handle people on movies crying.
But he didn't even have a set job. He was a temp and he hated Chicago, but wanted to stay there for Katie. So,
ooh, awk.
Yeah. When Katie actually started to date other men, he accused her of not wanting to date him only because of his race. So he pulled a race card. Yeah, and she was like, no.
I hate that. That's so annoying.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not even gonna entertain that. There's no. And he was also really possessive over her. She said that one night my car got towed and he insisted on paying for it, but when I didn't let him, he got very angry and left. And later that night, told me that he wished I had died.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Can't even pay for me.
He was that mad.
I would literally be okay, if you really want to pay, then pay.
I know. I don't understand why he was getting that mad. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he had anger issues after that. Because she said that one minute he'd be saying, "I love you," and I wouldn't say it back. And he'd say that I'm a horrible person and didn't think about other people's feelings.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he was definitely very possessive and very angry man.
For real.
Yeah, so eventually Mark actually moved to Wisconsin in January, and Katie thought it was all over. Boy, she was wrong. Because he started to show up in Chicago at places that he knew she would be. She even had a guy pretend to be her husband once and call Mark just to get him off of her back.
Oh my God, that's really awkward.
No matter where she went and what she did, he was there. So he was there
he was a stalker.
Yeah. He stalked her. She states, "I saw him in a bar one time and he started telling me that I was lying, that I didn't love him. And he was upset that I was not returning his feelings. And Mark would even bring home girls and call Katie from neighboring rooms while the girls were asleep, even though he knew it would upset her.
Ew.
Yeah, and then he told her that he would give up all the bad habits if she would be with him. But, like, why does she care?
After all of, first of all, if you have that many bad habits, if your habit is stalking me, no.
Yeah, well,
if your habit is telling me that you wish I died so that it let you pay for me,
yeah, it's crazy.
No.
But what I don't understand is why she got upset over him, like, sleeping with other girls. Like, why does that matter?
Oh, she got upset?
She got upset because he would sleep with other girls and call her.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I feel like part
Take
of
your
this,
side.
yeah, like, okay, I'm sure it's like he probably was like really strong and stuff, but I feel like some of the stuff I hear, I'm like, why didn't she stop him, and why
she
did
also
let it go
didn't
on?
call the police.
Yeah,
So I kind of don't feel bad for her, to be honest. Maybe whose point of view is the story from? The girl?
Katie,
I feel like she low-key exaggerated it.
maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the guy, like, maybe didn't like her as much as she wanted to be liked.
Yeah, well,
Because one, I would have reported it, and two, I wouldn't be mad if he like moved on.
Yeah, but between September, between September, between September and October 2001, Mark would constantly call her over and over and over again, but stopped for a few months once he realized that she wasn't answering. But soon after that, the calls started to happen again. He constantly would call her from different numbers, so she didn't even know if it was him. So she'd answer, and then it ended up being him.
I would just stop answering. Why doesn't she change her number?
I'm gonna get to that. But then she stopped answering different numbers, and he would leave messages saying like "I love you" and it's like really strange messages. She never contacted the police, like we said before, because she didn't believe that he could hurt anyone. But she told them that if he kept like stalking her, basically, that she'd bring the authorities into it. So, but he kept stalking her, so but she never brought the authorities in.
She threatened it, but she didn't pull through.
Yeah. Mark realized that his calls were not getting the messages across, so he actually started to mail letters to her. She said that it's not like he would mail a regular letter. I would know immediately it was him when I saw letters without opening them. He would write "I love you" on the covers, and each had a top 10 list. He would even like started to mail letters to her family and friends too. Like her,
what?
like
Letters are an interesting way. Couldn't he go with email or like Facebook messages?
I like letters. I think they're very personal, but I think it's. Why are you laughing at me?
I like letters, but like, no, I don't like letters. What am I saying? I literally haven't written a letter unless it's like graduation announcements.
I like letters.
When have you written a letter? When's the last time you wrote a letter?
I don't know, but I thought of
I don't
them.
even think you sent out graduation.
I didn't. I forgot.
So, never written a letter.
I've written a letter.
I just feel like Facebook messaging or email would have been easier than going straight to a letter.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he had her. I don't know. When she was dating other people, his obsession became way too serious, and he would show up at random times. She even had to move to Georgia, but she kept the same phone number because she said she didn't want to give out a new number to everyone.
Okay, that's not even lazy. That's like, I actually don't want him to stop stalking me because I want to tell people that I have a stalker.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind
That's stupid. I would change my number. I had a stalker in high school for like a day like a week or.
Really?
Yeah, remember the guy that called and was like, I know you have a truck, but you don't have your license yet.
No.
Well, that happened. I had a stalker in high school for like a week. It was really not that interesting. He just called me a bunch of times and told me things that like I didn't tell anybody. And then he stopped calling me. But I almost changed my number. And it was really mild. So if this was happening to me, I would definitely change my number.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Did he go to our school?
I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
Did mom and dad know?
Yeah, Dad almost called the police.
Jesus. I don't know that. Where was I?
I don't know. Justin Bieber live stream.
Probably. I can't even deny that.
Buried in your One Direction merch.
Shut up. Anyways, but he constantly blew up her phone, so she eventually changed her number in January 2003. So they met in 1999, and she didn't change her number until 2003.
Okay, 4 years.
Yeah. And then she said that it sucks when you have to change what you do. I'm still scared that somehow he's going to figure out where I am. If people really want to find you, they'll find you. She said that Mark still contacts her family in Chicago to try to figure out information on her. And because of everything that happened, she's now extremely cautious around men and making friendships. She even tells her boyfriends not to call her every day, and she'll end up backing off if they get too close. So that's what she said.
Interesting. I don't even know what to say about that.
In 2004, so a year later, Katie was speaking with her sister in Chicago on the phone when Mark called her house and overheard her sister speaking with her. So what I don't understand about that, does that mean that someone had to have answered the phone
I don't know.
to Mark and been like, hi. Katie went back to Chicago over the break. He called 4 times and left messages of him wanting to marry her. So that's basically all I got.
That's such a short story.
I know. Well, because I did some research and I couldn't find the best stories. And
yeah, a lot of the stalker stories are basically guy stalks girl. Guy stalks girl. But just wait, because my stalker story is literally the creepiest story you will ever hear in your entire life. I'm so
and
excited.
that is why I put mine in the beginning. To bore y'all and make y'all leave before she can.
Well, it was interesting. It was just very short.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's the story of Katie Landman's psycho stalker. I'm not sure where they are now, but I hope things are good. I looked them up and I was trying to find.
You should have them on Facebook.
Oh, I guess I could have done that. No, I would have felt like a stalker. She would have called me a stalker if I did that. But I looked them up and I was trying to figure out things, but the only ones that I could find were in 2004, and they all basically said the same thing. That was the longest one I could find. It's a very short story. So Katie, if you're listening,
what?
That's it.
If you're listening, hope you're still alive. Hope you got a new boyfriend.
Oh my god. Okay, go ahead and get into yours, Ariel.
Okay, my story is called The Westfield Watcher, and it's pretty long, and it's I wanted to do a story that was different from guy stalks girl, girl stalks guy. I wanted to do more of a bigger genre? I don't know. Anyways, I'm moving on. Ignore me. Okay, my story is The Westfield Watcher. This happened in June of 2014 to the Brodus family, who purchased a new 6-bedroom, $1.3 billion home in Westfield, New Jersey.
Billions of dollars on a home?
I mean, yeah, if I had billions of dollars, I would also spend billions of dollars.
So how many people's in the family?
5. But I'll move on from that. Okay.
I want peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
They had closed on the house a little early so they could do some renovations before they moved in. So one night, Derek had just finished painting the inside and he went to check the mail before he left. There wasn't much but a few bills because he did just move in and a small white card addressed to the new owner. The letter began sounding completely normal. It said, "Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood," which is so normal. If I got that, I'd be like, oh, this is so nice. Now, this house was the Brodus' dream home. Maria's childhood home was only a few blocks away, and Derek grew up in a working class home, so being able to afford a house like this was literally life-changing for him. But as Derek kept reading through this letter, things kind of took a turn. The letter continued to say, 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades. Now, as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. He continues to say, my grandfather watched this house in the 1920s and my father watched the house in the 1960s. Now it's my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out.
That was all in the note?
Yeah, more is in the note. It gets really, really creepy, the more he reads. Now, this isn't where the letter stops. Earlier that day, there had been a few contractors helping with new renovations, and the author of the letter seemed to take notice of this, saying, I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors so that you can destroy the house as it was supposed to be. The person wrote, tisk, 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 bad move.
Ew.
I know. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy. Also, the day before, Derek and Maria had gone to meet their neighbors with their 3 kids, ages 5, 8, and 10. And the author seemed to notice this too, writing, you have children. I've seen them. So far, I think there are 3 that I've counted. He goes on to say, do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Better for me. Was your old house too small for the growing family? or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them. The farther he read, the worse it got, and the letter concluded with a suggestion saying, this message would not be the last. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Let the party begin. Followed by a signature typed in cursive font, The Watcher. In my opinion, the worst part of this letter is that where the return address was supposed to be, it said, who am I? There are hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive by 657 Boulevard each day. Maybe I'm in one. Look at all the windows you can see from 657 Boulevard. Maybe I'm in one.
Ew.
Look out of many windows in 657 Boulevard at all the people who stroll by each day. Maybe I'm in one.
I hate that. In what? In a person?
I mean, maybe I am one. I hate that you called me out for that. Thank you.
Maybe you are in a person.
So the first letter definitely freaked them out. And Derek actually took the letter down to the police department where the cops just asked him if he had any enemies. And they said they'd, quote unquote, look into it.
Man, they always say that. Nothing happens.
So they basically blew him off. And
that is how every horror movie starts.
Yeah, basically. So that night, Derek and Maria emailed the people who sold them the house, which were named the Woods, asking why this happened. Because remember in the letter, it specifically said, I asked the Woods to bring me young blood, and it looks like they listened. So that, I know, that's...
Oh, the Woods. Oh, I was thinking you were talking about, like, the Woods, like, actual Woods.
I know, when I first read it, I thought the same thing. But no, the Woods is the name of the previous owners. But they ended up emailing the Woods, and Andrea Wood replied the next morning with, a few days before moving out, the Woodses had also reviewed a letter from the Watcher. The note had been odd, she said, and made similar mention of the Watcher's family observing the house over time. But Andrea.
So the Watcher's a whole family?
I don't know yet. But Andrea said she and her husband had never received anything like it in their 23 years in the house and had thrown the letter away without much thought. That day, the Woodses actually went with Maria to the police station where Detective Leonardo Lugo told her not to tell anyone about the letters, including her new neighbors, most of whom she had never met, and all of whom were now suspects. Naturally, the next couple of weeks, the family remained on edge, always looking behind them with every step they took, canceling work trips, and keeping a close eye on the children, which I completely understand. 2 weeks after the letter arrived, Maria stopped by the house to look at some paint samples and check the mail. She recognized the thick black lettering on the card-shaped envelope. Inside of this envelope was a letter saying, welcome again to your new home at 657 Boulevard, the Watcher wrote. The workers have been busy, and I have been watching you unfold carfuls of your personal belongings. The dumpster is a nice touch. Have they found what's in the walls yet? In time they will. The Watcher bragged about everything he had been learning about the family in the weeks that they had been moving in. I am pleased to know your name now, and the name of the young blood you have brought to me, it said. You certainly say their names often. The letter asked about one child in particular who the writer had seen using an easel on the inside porch, which, let me just tell you, the porch was kind of hidden from the street. So this couldn't have been seen by someone driving by. It was more like in their backyard. It was an inside porch. So it was like screened in their backyard. He goes, is she the artist in the family? The rest of the letter didn't get any better. He goes on to say, 657 Boulevard is anxious for you to move in. It's been years and years since the young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Have you found all the secrets it holds yet? Will the young blood play in the basement, or are they too afraid to go down there alone?
And this was a true story?
Yes, this is completely true. I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream. Will they sleep in... I know, this letter is really long, but I literally have to tell you every word of it because it's so creepy. Will they sleep in the attic, or will you all sleep on the second floor? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I'll know as soon as you move in. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better. All of the windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. Who am I? I'm the Watcher, and have been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now. The Woods family turned it over to you. It was their time to move on, and kindly sold it when I asked them to.
How long did the Woods family live there?
I didn't see that.
Wait, I thought the Woods family said that they that they got one letter towards the end and they ignored it.
They did.
So how come he's saying that he asked them?
I don't know. They actually end up getting sued, but I'll get to that part later. I pass by many times a day. 657 Boulevard is my job, my life, my obsession. And now you are too, Brodus family. I don't even know how to say their last name, to be honest. Welcome to the product of your greed. Greed is what brought the past 3 families to 657 Boulevard, and now has brought you to me. Have a happy moving in day. You know I'll be watching. Which is super, super creepy. That's where the letter ends. And in my opinion, it definitely sounds, because the weird thing is, this isn't even a sketchy area. It's actually been labeled America's 30th safest town and the 99th richest area in the country.
Where is this again?
It's not Westminster. That's where we stay in Colorado. Westfield.
What?
Westfield. New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, so it seems that he almost gets angry that these people are moving into this $1 billion home. And that I guess that maybe the home was in his family. This is what it sounds like to me. The home seemed to be in his family. And he just seems angry that other people are moving in. Because he keeps talking about greed and how he's the keeper of the house and how it's his responsibility.
Maybe his family went broke or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'll just keep going on with the story. Brodus's began their own investigation since the cops were clearly no help. And Derek became especially obsessed. He actually set up webcams in 657 Boulevard and spent nights crouched in the dark, watching to see if anybody was watching the house at close range.
I would too.
Yeah, I'll move on. They even hired a private investigator that patrolled their house all day and night and ran background checks on all of their neighbors. That's something I would do. If I had the money, I would definitely hire a private investigator and get background checks.
No, I don't really care about the background checks as much. Well, I guess if I got a letter, but...
Well, wouldn't you want to know if any of them had lived in that house before?
Ooh, that'd be nice to know. I think what I really would want to just have is have someone patrol my house so I know I'm safe all the time.
Derek was also pretty connected because he was able to hire a former FBI agent who served as the inspiration for Clarice Starling and The Silence of the Lambs. And they also hired Robert Lenahan, I'm guessing that's how you say his name, another former FBI agent, to conduct a threat assessment. So I think a threat assessment is basically them analyzing the threat, because Lenahan recognized several old-fashioned ticks in the letters and pointed to an older writer. The envelope was addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Brodus. The salutations included the day's weather, which were warm and humid, sunny and cool for a summer day.
He talked about the weather in his letter?
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
And the sentences had double spaces between them. The letters had a certain literary panache, which suggested a vicarious reader.
Panache. That sounds like a dessert.
That's ganache.
Interesting.
But that suggested a vicarious reader, so someone who reads all the time. And a surprising lack of profanity given the level of anger which Lenahan thought meant a less macho writer. While doing all these investigations, the Broduses have continued with their renovations and continue to receive letters from the Watcher, which I don't know why they continued with their renovations. Even though they were still getting letters, I would literally just sell the house. But the letters never got any less terrifying. Once they had finished their renovations, they sold their old house and ended up temporarily moving in with Maria's mother a few blocks away and still paying the mortgage on 657 Boulevard.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really does. Because that's an expensive house.
Yeah.
Soon after, they received a letter saying this: 657 Boulevard is turning on me. It is coming after me. I don't understand why. What spell did you cast on it? It used to be my friend, and now it's my enemy. I am in charge of 657 Boulevard. It's not in charge of me. I will fend off its bad things and wait for it to become good again. I will not punish me. I will rise again. I will be patient and wait for this to pass and for you to bring the young blood back to me. 657 Boulevard needs young blood. It needs you. Come back. Let the young blood play again, like I once did. Let the young blood sleep in 657 Boulevard. Stop changing it and let it alone.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. So there were also a lot of legal issues with the house because the Broduses tried to sell it And word actually got out about the watcher. So there was press at the house all the time, which basically alerted every single neighbor of the stalker. And this obviously caused people to not want to buy it. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a house that has a stalker literally like ready.
That's weird that the house has a stalker. I've never heard of a house.
I know. That's why I love the story.
I want to know, like, why he does that.
The Broadduses ended up suing the Woodses, which is the couple that sold them the house, saying that if they had known there was a stalker like that and even a remote distance, that they would have never bought the house. So even though the Woods did say that they only got one letter, the Broadduses say that if they would have known about even this one letter, they would have never bought it. They even attempted to tear down the house at one point. But if you want to know more about that, you'll need to look it up, the story yourself, because this is literally such a long story. There's a lot that went into it. There was even a point in time where the Broadduses were accused of faking the watcher because Derek Broaddus started out as such a low-income family, and he grew so big so quickly, and he started out buying like $300,000 houses, and then he became all the way up to a $1.3 billion house. So they were saying that maybe he couldn't afford it and they needed a reason to get out of it. They needed a way to like sue somebody to get money out of it, stuff like that.
That sucks. If I was being stalked and then someone was accused of me stalking myself,
Yeah.
I'd be kind of pissed.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be a possibility. But there was lots and lots and lots of conspiracy theories all around this. This actually lasted for 2 years. And then the Broadduses did end up selling the house to a big family after those 2 years.
Poor family, what the heck?
And yeah, I know. And a lot of speculation and legal battles went into it. Derek went one more time to 657 Boulevard to grab some stuff from the renters on move-in day. And the renters handed him a letter addressed to the vile and spiteful Derek and his wench wife, Maria. Yeah, so clearly he was angry. And I don't know how these people bought this house. Like, if I got a letter like that from the people who used to live there, I would be so sketched. Especially with a big family. Like, there's his young blood.
Yeah, why would you even subject your family to that?
Yeah, so it was actually dated February 13th, which was the day the Broadduses gave depositions in their lawsuit against the Woodses. This is what it said. You wonder who the watcher is. Turn around, idiots, the letter read. Maybe you even spoke to me, one of the so-called neighbors who has no idea who the watcher could be. Or maybe you do know, and you are too scared to tell anybody. Good move. The letter was less stylish and more wrathful than the others. Obviously, you can tell by the way they were addressed. And it seemed the writer had been closely following this story and seeing like all the media coverage with the lawsuits and the theories and everything like that. He goes, I walked by the news trucks when they took over my neighborhood and mocked me. I watched as you watched from the dark house in an attempt to find me. Telescopes and binoculars are wonderful inventions. And he even mentioned the attempt to tear down the house, saying, 657 Boulevard survived your attempted assault and stood strong with its army of supporters barricading its gate. The letter read, my soldiers of the boulevard followed my orders to a T. They carried out their mission and saved the soul of 657 Boulevard with my orders. All hail the Watcher.
Ew.
And that's where I'm going to end my story.
I hate that. So did they never find who the Watcher was?
No, there were a few theories that there was a family that lived behind them. And apparently they had lived in the house before, and the guy was kind of weird, and like the neighbors had been talking about how the guy was weird, but they couldn't get enough evidence to prosecute him. And then they thought it was the sister. There's a lot that went into this, but it would literally it took me like an hour and a half to read.
They should make a movie out of this.
I want to say there is a movie. I could be wrong.
Oh, really? Why don't we just watch the movie?
Well, I think there's a movie based off of it. I don't think it's like a documentary or anything.
Oh.
But it is a really creepy story, and it's one of my favorite stories that I've literally ever found. And I will never be able to go to Westfield and not think about 657 Boulevard. I thought it was creepy that he kept... I thought it was creepy that he kept calling it 657 Boulevard instead of like the house. And I can't even imagine like buying this super expensive house in like the perfect area Like, it was literally labeled the 30th safest place in America.
Man, I'd be so pissed if I bought a house for that much money and then all that happened.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And he still had to, like, pay mortgage on it when he wasn't living there and, like, keep it cleaned up. Because obviously, if you live in a nice neighborhood, you have to, like, mow your yard and stuff.
That sucks.
I know.
That really sucks.
I know, but you never know. It could be all faked, and he could just be trying to get some money and some publicity.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast.
Don't forget to tune in next week. I don't know what our theme's going to be, but it'll probably be amazing. And don't be too afraid of the dark tonight.
Don't be too afraid of the dark tonight.
Why'd you say it too?
I don't want to say it.
Thanks to Scary Stories Your Mom Never Told You for the amazing episode. Check out the links in the show notes to subscribe. Thanks again for listening to True Crime by Indie Drop-In. If you would like your show featured, reach out to us at Indie Drop-In on all social media or go to indiedropin.com. See you next time.